Okay, so today we start chapter 6. Here it is called Sankhya Yoga, but in my book it's called Dhyana Yoga. So I'll read you the sentence from the table of contents as the summary. Ashtanga Yoga, a mechanical meditative practice, controls the mind and senses and focuses concentration on the Paramatma, the Supersoul, the form of the Lord situated in the heart. This practice culminates in samadhi, full consciousness of the Supreme. Sri Bhagavan Uvaka Anashrita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Ya Sa Sannyase Cha Yogi Cha Na Nir Na Chakariya. The blessed Lord said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of the eightfold yoga system is a means to control the mind and senses. However, this is very difficult for the for the people in general to perform, especially in this age of Kali. Although the eightfold yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of karma yoga, or acting in Krishna consciousness, is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self-interest, some personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. The criterion of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view to enjoying the fruits of work. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutionally parts and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self-satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the Supreme Whole and not for personal satisfaction is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties, and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotra yajnas, fire sacrifices. But actually they are self-interested because their goal is becoming one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self-interest. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practices the yoga system with half-open eyes, seizing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self-interest. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self-satisfaction. His criterion of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is in the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way. Na danam, na janam, na sudaram, kavitam, va jagidisa kamyaye, mama jamani savari, bhavatad bhakter ahatuki tavai. Text, Shloka 2. Yam sannyasam iti prahar yogam tam vidi pandava na hai ansayasa sankalpo yogi bhavati kaskana. What is renunciation? What is called renunciation is the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme, for no one can become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. Real sannyasa yogi or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is in the marginal energy of the Supreme. When he is entrapped by material energy, he is conditioned, and when he is Krishna consciousness or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the senses from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses, as prescribed in the jnana and yoga processes, is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then jnana and yoga are of no avail. The real aim is for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self-enjoyment. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self-satisfaction because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. All these purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Shloka 3. Aruksur munar yogam karma karanam usakti yoga rudhasya tasyeva sama karanam usakti. For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means. And one who has already attained to yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga, which may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder becomes from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to perfect self-realization and pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called the Yoga Ruksa stage, and the highest rung is called Yoga Ruda. Concerning the Eightfold Yoga system, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercise, are considered fruitive material activities. All such activities lead to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities. As a Krishna conscious person is, however, situated from the beginning on the platform of meditation because he always thinks of Krishna. And being constantly engaged in the service of Krishna, he is considered to have ceased all material activities. I think I'll read one more and then I will pause. Yada hai nendriyathesu na karmasva anusajyate sarva sankalpa sannyase yogarudas tado kyate. A person is said to have attained to yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification, since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self-centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder. So we'll do number 5 tomorrow. While I was reading that, at one point I was reading and my mind was somewhere else. And it's crazy how our mind can do that. When I'm even the one reading and I'm still spacing out. And I was thinking, like, I'm trying, like, I feel like I can grasp Krishna consciousness in those moments because it's almost like when it's just Krishna conscious to me is now just becoming fully present in what you're doing without judgment or attachment to it. Like took my mentee, I finally saw her on Friday for the first time in over a year, and we went to Target because what else are you going to do? I don't ever go to Target. I have no interest in going to Target, but she was super excited about it. And the whole time she's a chatterbox and I love her, but it is hard work hanging out with a teenager because you have to be fully present with them the whole time you're with them. And I guess this is like with all children. And that's to me is like becoming Krishna consciousness. It's like when I'm teaching yoga, I'm fully present with the students in the room. But when I'm doing my work at my desk and for 8 hours, I'm like coming in and out, like, because it's mindless work sometimes. I don't have to be constantly thinking. I've done it so much. So I guess this is what it's trying to tell me, to just be fully present in everything you're doing, to be Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, that sure is the case. When you
Like
get kids living with you.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like I didn't care that I was at Target with her. That wasn't the point of it. We were just spending time together. That's Krishna consciousness. Like I wasn't like, oh, I hate being here. I don't want to be here. You know, like I was not saying all those things in my head, but I could have very easily gone down that path.
Right, because in serving others selflessly and fully present is serving the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like while I was reading, I'm like, this is what like a school teacher must feel like. And this is why they feel so exhausted, because for 8 hours or whatever number of hours, they are fully present in their work with their classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is exhausting teaching yoga because for an hour and plus minutes, I am fully present with those students.
Mm-hmm.
But the energy exchange for me teaching yoga is worth it because I love it so much that I don't feel like it's not an exhaustion where I come home and like pass out like I run a marathon. It's a different type, and you get used to it, I guess, like with practice. So
it's definitely a muscle. It's like a brain muscle that you got to build up.
Yeah. And I guess that's why like teachers, it's not like the work they're doing, it's the energy they have to, and the idea of how present they have to be. And of course it is to the work, the physical work of like, and I'm thinking of like an elementary school teacher that's like on their feet all day, they're squatting down to the children, you know, like that type of thing. But I have a whole new, whereas my job, I sit in a desk chair all day and like, I can like type a whole email and like my brain can be over here thinking about something else, which it often is. So I have to pull it back.
Too, man. All parents feel that way as well. Mental fatigue.
Yeah, like that's why like new moms are probably so exhausted on top of everything else, like the feeding, the changing,
the sleep deprivation.
It's really just because they have how present they've had to become in their life.
Because if you're not present, they get hurt. So it's like a life or death thing all the time.
Yeah, if you're not present, they get hurt, but also like that you need to feed them and change their diaper, which is part of getting hurt because they'll starve or they'll get a rash.
Right, yeah, you have to meet every need before they even know they need it. So you have to pay attention. It's true. It's like, you could be meditative about it or you could let it destroy you. It's essentially what it is.
Like when you become a yoga teacher, I guess it's like the practice, like that's why I guess when the second one comes around, people are like, oh, I've done this before. Because it's like They know what to expect now. They can balance their energy a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. I don't have kids. I can't speak to it.
I hear 2 is infinitely harder because then it's like, I can't even explain it. I was babysitting a friend's toddler last night.
Yeah.
And so I had 2 of them, but she was little, she was 1. Like when I have kids Isabella's age, it's not as hard for some reason. But she was like, trying to climb everything, jump off things. She was throwing the food all over the floor. I was like trying to make sure she didn't slip. And then, Isabella needed something, and then the other baby needed something. It's like a lot. I had felt for my friends who have multiple kids close together. It's a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't just be present and relax present. Like when you're teaching a yoga class, it's like, that everyone's gonna like do their thing.
I'm not comparing motherhood to yoga.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to give like an example of
I guess when
very extreme. That was what I was thinking last night. Like, this is very extreme. I did the right thing by waiting, I think.
So when you're single, it's definitely a lot easier, right? And it's not demanded of you to concentrate on one thing, which is a baby. But for whatever reason, I was going to share, and then Amanda touched on it. It's much harder for me now because the kids are home doing remote learning. So my little one is very little. She's 6. She's got that on. So I have a classroom going on all day long in the house. I'm trying to cook. I'm trying to learn something. Mom. And then the other one needs something. And it's really been challenging. Like, it's very difficult for me to chop my vegetables when a classroom's going on. She's screaming, Mom. The other one says, hey, Ma, can I ask you a question? And it's just,
yes, but Alexandra,
I often think, what do the teachers do that have?
You have to go back to what Sue said, and in your head you have to say WWKD.
Yeah, right.
What would
But he was a god. He could deal with all this.
He could have
Alexandra,
9,000 wives, this guy.
I'm just joking. Yeah, no, I know this year is extra hard.
No, but that is it. Like, that's the only way I survived this year. It was like, I had to completely surrender. And that's when my teachers in this lineage would reach out to me, like, and they would say, are you okay? Like, how are you dealing with all this? And I was like, I finally learned surrender. I didn't know it really well before, but now, like, that's literally the only thing you can do. You just surrender to what the moment's presenting, and that's like Christian consciousness. It's like, okay, what are you giving me today? What are we dealing with today? What are we dealing with in this moment?
Yeah, and Alexandra, you think it's hard now. Think about what it would have been like without all this work you're doing for yourself. Like, it would have been even worse. All right, I was gonna lead you guys through breath.
I'll lead you through breath. It's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna make Amanda host and then drop. You guys all have a really nice day.
You too, Pam. Thank you for reading.
I'll see you. I'm gonna take you at 9:30. I'm gonna sneak out of work.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I'll see you in a little.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Amanda, I'm gonna leave and meditate.
Okay.
See you later. Bye, Gators.
All right, bye. So let's do some breath work. We can take the right hands to the thumb to the right nostril. Inhale through the left nostril, close off both, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close off both, exhale through the left. We'll do it a couple of times.
Amanda, is it only you and I?
And Isabella.
So, did you need to meditate for yourself? Because I wanted to ask you a question.
I would like to meditate, yes.
Okay.
That's why I did this morning.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. If you want to lead your own breath work, you can.
No, I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were doing it for me. That's why I asked.
Oh, I am. If you need to be led, that's it. So you can take your thumbs to your ears and close off your eyes. And we can do some bumblebee breaths. So we'll inhale deeply and then hum through the nose. All right, I'll set the timer for 20. Bringing the hands to prayer. Bowing the head. Namaste. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Do you have time for a question?
What's up?
So the video, the person I'm going away with did teacher training, I don't know, 7 years ago. She's like, oh, I can do the video with you. Can I do it with her on Saturday there and send it to you?